evening. I'd like to call to order the regular city commission meeting for the 27th of January, 2025. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Dollison?
Here.
Commissioner Mercer?
Here.
Commissioner Dantzler?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Yates?
Here.
And Mayor Birdsong.
Here. We were to have an invocation by Apostle Willie Mincy, but I don't see him. So I'm going to ask Minister Abdul Al-Khatib if you would come and give us an invocation. And we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Vanessa Castillo, MMC City Clerk.
Let us pray.
Stand if able.
Let us pray. Dear Lord God, we come now before your throne of grace and mercy, thanking you for this day. We thank you, dear God, for these commissioners and staff and all those called to lead our city. We ask your prayers, peace, and blessing be upon them as they consider the issues that face our community. We ask your prayers, peace, and blessing be upon the citizens of this community and the great things that we are able to do through your will and your grace. We give you all the praise, honor, and glory for what we are about to do in this meeting and what we're about to do for our great city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have presentations. I'm going to change the order just a little bit. We will start with the proclamation for achievement for excellency. We'll do that one first. And then we'll do
I think we just go backwards.
we'll go backwards. Join me, commissioners, if you would.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Just real quick, this is the 34th year that we have received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 2023 Financial Report. This is our award. It goes on a plaque. And you would think 34 years, everything is really easy by this time. Well, that's not the case because 34 years ago, we only had 5 accounting rules. Now we have 102. So it's very challenging. This is for the 2023 financials, and that was a challenging year. We're working on 2024 right now. But 2023, we had 2 accounting rules. One had to do with leases, one had to do with subscriptions. And I want to give a shout out to Debbie Tate. She did a fantastic job with this. So with 102 rules, we now have an annual financial report, which is over 200 pages, which we know nobody's reading except the auditors and the city manager. So we're coming up with a condensed version, which is called the Popular Annual Financial Report. And it's a little bit like the Budget in Brief. The Budget in Brief looks forward. The Popular Annual Financial Report looks at what we spent our funds on in the past. And this aligns with the Strategic Plan 6.1.1, Responsible Government. And I think that covers it.
So, Mayor and
Thank you.
Commissioners, I think that the key with that is, again, we're continuing to try and find ways to best communicate to the general public our financial operations. The Budget Brief was a great addition to that this year. This Popular Annual Financial Report will be another document of that magnitude. So, great. The big plaque.
It's my favorite one.
Yeah. It's a little belt. It's a big deal.
1, 2, 3. One more.
That's class. Mr. Mayor, you want to go to the regular order now? Okay. All right. So we will resume our regular order. Our first proclamation this evening, and for the benefit of the audience, over the next two city commission meetings, we will have a total of 4 proclamations that are issued recognizing individuals within our community who have been nominated and selected as local Black heroes for the impacts that they've had on the Winter Haven community over the years. So we will do our first 2 this evening. Our first one is for the Reverend Joel Elvin Atkins. And I believe we have family that is here that if you would like to come to the podium at this point, we'll read the proclamation and present this to you and have an opportunity for photos as well. So our proclamation reads, whereas the city of Winter Haven recognizes how diversity and inclusion are woven into the fabric of American life and solidify the foundation of strong communities. And whereas in 2021, the city of Winter Haven began celebrating Black History Month by recognizing local heroes who have made a significant impact on the community. And whereas a group of community leaders came together and identified local heroes who blazed new trails while demonstrating passion, dedication, and compassion for the community. And whereas one hero will be recognized each week of Black History Month 2025, which is the month of February. And whereas Reverend Joel Elvin Atkins is recognized as one of these heroes. And whereas Reverend Atkins served as a man of faith, activist, and was so much more to many people as he helped make Winter Haven a more inclusive and equitable community. And whereas Reverend Atkins would say, only one life 'twill soon be past, only what's done for Christ will last. And these are words that can guide us all. Now, therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong, Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, does hereby recognize the week of February 3rd, 2025, as Reverend Joel Elvin Atkins Week in the City of Winter Haven and calls upon all residents to honor his legacy of leadership, justice, and unwavering dedication to the betterment of our community. In witness whereof, he is hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, to be affixed this 27th day of January 2025. Signed, Nathaniel J. Birdsong, Jr., Mayor. Attest, Vanessa Castillo, City Clerk.
You speak, I'm speaking. Just speaking. To the mayor, commissioners, sitting officials, nominating committee, all my friends and family. I just want to thank the city of Winter Haven for this opportunity of recognizing my dad. There's a lot of things that I could say, but I'm sure if we just took the time to do some research and read some things, you would find out a lot more about what the impact that Reverend Joel Atkins actually had on this community. And I would run amiss to say that those weren't great. I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Atkins family. And I just want to say we will forever be a part of this community, and we will ever be represented in this community as the Atkins family. Stands before you are 4 generations of Atkins, and we just appreciate the honor and the privilege that you've bestowed upon our family. Thank you very much.
For the benefit of the audience, while the Atkins family is coming forward for a photograph, the week of February 3rd, that is Reverend Joel Atkins Week, there will be social media posts and other communications that come out from the city of Winter Haven highlighting the impact of Reverend Atkins. The banner that you see is one of 4 banners that will be hung or at the light posts that surround Central Park's fountain. And those will remain for the month of February and then be folded into the other banners we hang throughout the community each year.
Beautiful, thank you.
Our next proclamation is again recognition of one of our local heroes, and I'd like to invite to the podium retired officer Carol Bradley and members of the Bradley family. Again, our proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the city of Winter Haven recognizes how diversity and inclusion are woven into the fabric of American life and solidify the foundation of strong communities. And whereas in 2021, the city of Winter Haven began celebrating Black History Month by recognizing local heroes who have made a significant impact on the community. And whereas a group of community leaders came together and identified local heroes who blazed new trails while demonstrating passion, dedication, and compassion for the community. And whereas one hero will be recognized for each week of Black History Month 2025. And whereas Carol Bradley is recognized as one of these heroes. And whereas Carol Bradley is a decorated public servant, relationship builder, and so much more to so many people, as she dedicated her professional career to making an impact to her community. And whereas Carol would say, in order to walk in great power, you have to walk in God's truth. And these are words that can guide us all. Now, therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, does hereby recognize the week of February 10th, 2025 as Carol Bradley Week in the City of Winter Haven, and honors and recognizes Carol Bradley for her 35 years of service, leadership, and dedication to her community. In witness whereof, he is here to set his hand and cause the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, to be affixed this 27th day of January, 2025. Signed, Nathaniel J. Birdsong Jr., Mayor. Attest, Vanessa Castillo, City Clerk.
I am so humble. This is really taking me aback. Try not to cry. This is wonderful. I did 30 years with the city of Winter Haven. It was rough, but it was good. I've been with the city so long I'm humble. Like I said, thank you, City of Winter Haven. Thank you to the committee that chose me. Who would have ever thought? Little old girl out of Pruesville. That's right, born out of Pruesville. Who would have thought that I would be standing up here one day through the trials and tribulations that I went through? Who would have thought I would have made it? 30 years. I made it. I'm here. I conquered more than a conqueror in Christ Jesus. That's how I made it. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today. I look at the staff, I look at the commission, I look at the city manager. All y'all know me. Y'all raised me, and I thank God for you.
Again, during the week of February 10th, we will have social media posts and other digital media information that we'll share about the career and the impact of Miss Carol Bradley that will be available throughout that entire week. Her banner will also fly on one of the light poles that surrounds the fountain in Central Park.
I need y'all to know that Reverend Joe Atkins was my childhood pastor. And I'm so proud.
All right, you've got a whole paparazzi up here. All right, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. One more. You guys all get it?
No,
Oh, no.
yeah. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. All right.
Thank you. Mayor and Commissioners, our final proclamation this evening is in recognition of the Black Market, a Melanin Cultural Festival. I'm going to invite to the podium Simone Wilson and Zania Zhao, I believe it's.
Perfect.
Okay. Did I get it? Was I close?
You was
Okay.
correct. You're
Okay.
correct.
All right. Thank you. Our proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the Black Market, a Melanin Cultural Festival, celebrates the richness of Black culture, creativity, and entrepreneurship. And whereas this festival highlights the contributions of Black-owned businesses, artists, and innovators, fostering unity and economic empowerment. And whereas it serves as a space to honor heritage, inspire future generations, and strengthen community connections. Now, therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, does hereby honor, recognize, and commend the Black Market, a Melanin Cultural Festival, for its dedication to uplifting and celebrating Black excellence. In witness whereof, he is hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, to be affixed this first day of February 2025. Signed, Nathaniel J. Birdsong Jr., Mayor. Attest, Vanessa Castillo, City Clerk.
To the mayor, commissioners, to the city of Winter Haven. My name is Simone Wilson, and it's an honor to receive this proclamation for the Black Market, a Melanin Cultural Festival by the Cultural Collective Society, our nonprofit. On behalf of our team, thank you for supporting our vision. The festival celebrates to uplift Black-owned businesses in our community, showcasing their resilience, creativity, and their vital contributions to our city's culture and economy. Beyond the business, the Black Market wants to foster unity, inclusivity, and we invite everyone to celebrate the beauty and brilliance of the Black culture, build connections, and highlight the talent within our community.
Good evening. My name is Zania, and it is a privilege to stand alongside Simone and address you all today. Like Simone, I want to express my deepest gratitude to the mayor, commissioners, and the city of Winter Haven for honoring us this proclamation and supporting our vision to the Black market. At its heart, this festival is also about pouring back into our community, particularly our youth. The Black Market provides a platform for young performers, artists, and creators to share their talents, whether it's music, dance, or other forms of expression. This is their chance to shine. When our youth know that they are seen, supported, and celebrated, it inspires them to dream big and pursue greatness. By giving them this space, we're investing in the future of Winter Haven, cultivating the next generation of leaders, creators, and visionaries who will help shape a stronger and brighter community. This proclamation is not just for us, it represents the businesses, the families, and the youth who believe in the power of unity and community. To the mayor, commissioners, and the citizens of Winter Haven, thank you. Thank you for standing with us, for believing in this mission, and recognizing the importance of celebrating Black excellence. Together, we can continue to uplift, inspire, and strengthen our community for generations to come. Thank you.
The festival will be this Saturday, February 1st on Lake Silver from 12 to 5. Shout out to Natalie.
All right, we're gonna take two. 1, 2, 3. One more. Just go move.
Wonderful, wonderful.
We have no developments of note. Commissioners, you have the minutes. Entertain a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve two sets of minutes, January 8th, 2025 City Commission Agenda Review Session and the January 13th, 2025 regular City Commission meeting minutes.
Thank you. I'll close the commission meeting, open public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to these minutes may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none. The minutes are adopted. Comments from the audience. We have one person, Bishop Lawrence. Would you please come forward?
Grace, peace, and mercy be unto each and every one of you from God our Father, Lord Jesus Christ, our blessed Savior. Thank you for this opportunity, Mayor Burson, commissioners, to each one of you, city manager, Sister Vanessa. It's good to see you, my sister. I come to say that I thank you for the great work that you're doing here in the city of Winter Haven. I was born and raised here. My heart is still here. And I heard you mention Brother Gethers, Lemia Gethers. If you look back in your records during the time that Mel Thricker was the mayor here, she said that whoever got the most votes, that street that we used to have Martin Luther King name on would be named after that individual. Different ones came in with all kind of signatures and stuff, but I came in with the majority of the signatures for Lemia Gethers. And it was changed. They didn't keep their word. The city of Winter Haven and named that street after Lemia Gethers because I had more names than everyone put together for that street to be named after Mr. Lemia Gethers. So if you can, if you have time, go back in your records, you'll see that the city of Winter Haven said whoever got the most signatures, that street be named after that individual, and that was Lemia Gethers. Also, I talked with a few people, and it's nothing you can do overnight, but when we give our address up here, people on the other side of the world knows it. But when we write it down, when we write it down and we put it back there, hopefully you can read our writing. And that's public record also. But when we say it over the mic, just go for city, county, wherever, someone may not like us and they can know exactly pinpoint where we live at. Also, one more thing that I would like to discuss. Martin Luther King was not just about black people. He's about people as a whole that was being mistreated, wrong. And I remember the time when Billy Graham saw how Martin Luther King and the people with him was being treated. Billy Graham went down and cut the ribbon down and invited Martin Luther King up to the podium with him. So both of those men, to me, were concerned about what was right, people. And so I think that we, Winter Haven, the city of Winter Haven, you have a street named after Martin Luther King. It'll be very, very, very blessed because we the fastest growing county in the nation, my understanding. If we can get from Dundee Road all the way down Buckeye Loop, all the way out to the city limits, named after Martin Luther King will be a blessing and will be an honor to our great city. And hopefully you can consider these things I brought to you because it's just right. It's just right. And we are growing by leaps and bounds. And so, yes, I'm not about black and white. Y'all know, a lot of y'all know who I am. I'm about people. So I'm asking you to please do this. Thank you very much. And again, may our Father and our God continue to bless and keep you as you continue to bless our great cities. Thank you, Mayor Burson.
All right, thank you. All right, we have ordinances, second reading. Ordinance 02504, would you read by title only, city attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-25-04, an ordinance extending the corporate limits of the city of Winter Haven, Florida, so as to include therein additional territory lying contiguous and adjacent to the present boundaries of the city of Winter Haven, Florida, describing said additional territory, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing an effective date. The general location: 4 parcels generally located approximately 1,218 feet north of Old Bartow Lake Wales Road, east of McLean Road, and approximately 1,333 feet west of Gary Street. The area covered by this request is 93.45 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you, city manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a second reading on ordinance O-25-04. As the city attorney had pointed out, Gain Inc. requests the city commission annex 4 parcels that total 93.45 plus or minus acres, located off of Old Bartow Lake Wales Road, as depicted on the image shown on the screens. The current taxable value of the subject parcel is approximately $11,483. which will generate a tax revenue of approximately $75.67. Under current conditions, however, additional revenue would be expected upon the development of this property. Staff recommends City Commission approve ordinance 025-04. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve ordinance 02504 on second reading.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to ordinance 02504 may come forward. State your name and address for the record. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none, 02504 is adopted. Commissioners, you have the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety as presented.
thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to the consent agenda? Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, could I offer a comment just as a
Yes.
clarification from the discussion we had during agenda review? I think we have some photos of those smart covers. There was a question, I think perhaps Commissioner Dancer had asked about those. We do not have any of those that we can put out to show you because they are all deployed into the field, but what you see on the screen is an image of what that smart cover looks like. In the lower left-hand corner, that is the underside of one of the manhole covers. And so that's what would be suspended from that there. And then you have a monitor that extends down to the water, the fluid level that gives us that indication. I also provided for you at the dais at each of your seats a case study that was provided by Smart Cover, which is the company from which we acquire this equipment. This is specifically a case study that they have published based upon our history with them of having used the smart covers throughout our system. So just a little background information on that item. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none, the consent agenda is adopted. Resolution R2504, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-25-04, a resolution confirming the acceptance of certain improvements, infrastructure, and dedications in favor of the city, City of Winter Haven, Florida, is notated on that certain plat entitled Harbor at Lake Henry, recorded in the office of the clerk of the Circuit Court in Fort Polk County, Florida, in Plat Book 208, pages 29 through 32, public records of Polk County, Florida, and authorizing the city manager to release the performance bond posted to guarantee completion of required improvements in infrastructure. General location subdivision is generally located south of the east intersection of Old Lucerne Park Road and Lucerne Park Road, State Road -544. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, the Harbor at Lake Henry LLC requests the commission accept certain improvements and dedications in favor of the public or the City of Winter Haven as noted on the plat for Harbor at Lake Henry. This subdivision includes 36.03 plus or minus acres located south of the east intersection of Old Lucerne Park Road and Lucerne Park Road or State Road 544. Subdivision contains 179 building lots and 14 common lots. All water lines, sewer lines, and related infrastructure will be owned and maintained by the city, as will the internal roadways, which are contained within 50-foot rights-of-way. All stormwater drainage systems and related infrastructure will be owned and maintained by the HOA. The City Commission approved Resolution R2438 that platted the subdivision. However, certain improvements were not completed at that time, and the developer had submitted a performance bond in the amount of $313,258. The incomplete improvements, which included earthwork, sanitary sewer, potable water, stormwater management, and engineering certification, have been found to be complete through our recent inspections and can now be accepted by the city. Staff's recommending the City Commission approve Resolution R25-04. I do want to offer a few additional comments that just to continue the conversation from the agenda review of last Wednesday. for the benefit of the commission and those in the audience and listening online, there is, with respect to State Road 544 improvements, a public hearing that is being held this week. I believe it's Thursday evening at Polk State College, that speaks to the PD&E study. We had a lengthy discussion about that and their improvements, and that focuses primarily on the section, the first section to be constructed will be from First Street at MLK Boulevard northward to Avenue Y. There's also plans for a traffic signalization at the intersection of Lucerne Park Road, State Road 544, and this easternmost intersection with Old Lucerne Park Road. This is part of that. And I'd like Eric Labby, our Director of Economic and Opportunity and Community Investment, to offer a comment or two on some recent changes that we've learned of from TPO regarding capacity on this as it speaks to other developments in this area.
Yes, sir, Mayor Commissioners. So we recently got updated traffic information from the Polk TPO with respect to Lucerne Park Road. As expected, traffic is increasing on Lucerne Park Road. We do have enough capacity for both the Harbor at Lake Henry subdivision and the Willowbrook North subdivision along Lucerne Park Road, but then at that point, capacity will be used up.
That concludes my presentation, sir.
All right, thank you, Commissioner.
Mayor, the light, you said that there's going to be a light. Is that at the cemetery? Return to the cemetery, going to old Lucerne Park Road?
It will be, AJ, can you navigate to that intersection, or Eric, to show where that light will be? It's going to be further back right there. So there's, I believe, a gas station on that corner. It's a pretty dangerous intersection in terms of traffic conflicts. So that's one of the locations where they're making an early on intersection improvement. There are other intersection improvements scheduled throughout this corridor from First Street really all the way out past US 27. But this is the first one that.
The improvement at Avenue Y will include, as you said.
At Avenue Y, I believe that's intended to be a roundabout at that intersection, based upon the last designs that I've observed.
All right, I entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, motion to approve resolution R 2504.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to R 2504 can do so at this time. Come forward, state your name and address for the record. Have 5 minutes.
Good afternoon. I'm Ernestine Davis, 3079 Buckeye Point Drive. And I'd ask a question about the light that you all speaking of on the Lucerne Park Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So where in there on the Lucerne Park Road, you plan to put the light?
So if you look at the screen in front of you, you can see where the hand is moving right there. That is on the easternmost reconnection of where Old Lucerne Park Road comes into Lucerne Park Road. And that is, it's not a city project. That is a Florida Department of Transportation improvement that will be made there, Ms. Davis.
Okay.
I think to help you a little bit more, Ernestine,
Uh-huh.
that the section that they're talking about, Old Lucerne Park and Lucerne Park Road comes together at two different intersections. The one that they're referring to about the light, I guess, is the one that's closest to 27.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
So
Close
that
to
gives you
27.
a better picture of exactly what they're talking about.
Okay, are you speaking of past Walmart?
Yes, coming back towards 27. You know where the racetrack is on 27 and
Okay.
Lucerne Park Road? Coming back, there's a little service station right there where the road goes off to the
Goes-
right, Old
Go
Lucerne
like
Park.
this way where the mobile homes.
Yes,
Okay. Well, now we need our light out here. You're talking about a right or some
roundabout?
You all talking about, we need a light, we have about 4 churches in the same area. And we need a light in our community. That's where we need a light. Because, listen, all over Polk County, in different areas you travel, in the community, you know, in the community, street by street, there's a light. Okay? So we need to work on that. That's what we need to work on. That's very important. And we've been talking about it, and that's not fair. And we need to have a meeting, Tallahassee or Washington or wherever we need to go. We need a light. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I just will make one comment, Ernestine. I just want you to know that we have no control. That's a DOT state. They have totals and uncompromising power over that.
I would probably add that the roundabout will probably supposedly bring some relief to that area where you're speaking to relative to the churches. Because you're exactly right. It is quite a challenge when you're trying to access Lucerne from many of those areas, and it's very dangerous. And so I think the roundabout will alleviate that because one, it will. And that's why they're using those much more today to slow things down a bit and to give ingress and egress a little much easier to navigate and move through. So hopefully that will bring about some assistance or help with the improvement to the road.
All right. Anyone else from the public? I'll close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Poses by the same sign. Hearing none. Resolution R2504 is adopted. Okay, we have 3 ordinances, first reading. We will not be voting on those tonight. We will vote on them on February the 10th. However, I will allow any questions or discussion in reference to those. So ordinance O2503, would you read by title only, city attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-25-03, an ordinance amending ordinance 23-24, the 2035 Winter Haven Comprehensive Plan by amending the schedule of capital improvements portion of the capital improvements element of the City of Winter Haven Comprehensive Plan, revising capital improvements element policies 1.1.7 and 1.1.8, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, Florida statutes requires all local governments to adopt a 5-year schedule of capital improvements as part of its comprehensive plan. This update includes fiscal years 24-25 through 28-29 and is derived from the city's 24-25 operating budget. The 5-year schedule of capital improvements consists of items identified in the capital improvement program portion of the city's operating budget that implement specific objectives and policies that are contained within the comprehensive plan. Only those projects with a minimum cost of $25,000 and a minimum service life of 5 years are included. The total capital spend for the proposed 5-year schedule is approximately $482 million. In addition to the city's CIP that will be incorporated into the comprehensive plan, it also formally adopts by reference the current FDOT 5-year work program, the Polk County 5-Year Transportation Work Program, and the 5-Year Work Program is adopted by the Polk County School Board. The Planning Commission on January 7th of this year unanimously voted to recommend approval of this request and forwarding on to the City Commission for consideration. Staff recommends City Commission move ordinance 025-03 to second reading. Thank you.
Thank you. We will have second reading on February the 10th. However, if there's any commissioner that would like to ask any questions or speak to this ordinance, you can do so at this time. All right, anyone from the public? All right, ordinance 02506, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-25-06, an ordinance amending various provisions of Article Roman numeral 3, Chapter 19, Sections 19-68 through 19-81 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven, Florida regarding the city's wastewater system, specifically the Industrial Pretreatment Program, also referred to as the Industrial Pretreatment Ordinance, by incorporating changes mandated by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and/or the Environmental Protection Agency, the revision of the city's wastewater industrial pretreatment regulations, providing for codification, the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, severability, and a repeal of conflicting ordinances and resolutions, and providing for an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, the city has a wastewater industrial pretreatment ordinance specifying the requirements, provisions, and local limits for general sewer use and pretreatment, also referred to as a sewer use ordinance. In accordance with FDEP's ongoing oversight, the City of Winter Haven is proposing revisions to its wastewater industrial pretreatment ordinance. The revisions stem from FDEP's March 27th, 2024 audit of the pretreatment fat, oil, and grease division. The proposed ordinance addresses DEP's recommendations for regulatory compliance, clarifies language, and corrects minor typographical errors. Having received DEP's preliminary approval on January 3rd of 2025, the city now seeks the City Commission's adoption of Ordinance 02506. Staff recommends the City Commission approve the ordinance and move it to second reading and authorize the city manager or designee to take all further actions necessary related thereto. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We will have our second reading on February 10th. However, if there's anyone from the audience that would like to address it, or anyone from the commission. Thank you. Ordinance 02507, would you read by title on the City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-25-07, an ordinance amending ordinance number O-23-54, appropriation of funds for defraying the expenses of the municipal government of the City of Winter Haven for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2023, providing for severability and providing an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, in July of fiscal year 23, the city implemented encumbrance of purchase orders for better management of resources, transparency, and fiscal accountability. Encumbrance roll forwards occur when these commitments are carried forward from one fiscal period to the next. Due to the encumbrance roll forwards from the previous fiscal year, 2023, adjustments to fiscal year 2024 budget are required. Those roll forwards are outlined within the packet that you received. Staff's recommending the City Commission approve Ordinance 02507, approving a budget amendment for the encumbered purchase order roll forwards. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will have our second reading on February the 10th. However, if there's anyone from the audience or the commission that would like to address this ordinance, you may do so at this time. Seeing none, we'll move right along. New business, RFQ 2438. City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, on August 21st of 2024, the city issued RFQ 2438, seeking submittals from qualified design build firms for the redevelopment of the city's former Fire Station 1, located just to the north of the building we are in. This is to construct new City of Winter Haven Building Division administrative offices. On October 9th, 2024, 4 proposals were received meeting all the specifications for qualifications. On December 10th of 2024, the city's selection committee met and selected the unanimously top-ranked firm, Whitehead Construction. A recommendation of award was posted December 10th, 2024, with no protest received in response. City has approximately $7 million set aside in the construction fund for the construction of these building division facilities. There's a rendering. This is not necessarily exactly what the building would look like, but gives some concept of how that building may be transformed. The building itself will remain pretty much as the exterior walls and roof are. It is complete rehab and construction on the inside of this building that will allow us to better meet the needs of our community from a building official standpoint. Staff recommends City Commission award RFQ 2438 to Whitehead Construction and authorize the city manager to negotiate the design build services and take all actions necessary and incidental thereto. If approved, the next step in this process will be, once the contract is fully executed, we will bring back to the City Commission a guaranteed maximum price for the design efforts associated with this project. Afterwards, we will bring back an amendment to that GMP that will factor in the actual construction cost for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
A quick question.
Yes.
You know, was this a Gene Leedy building by any chance? I know ours is, but was that a Gene Leedy design, do you know?
I cannot confirm if it is an actual Gene Leedy or if it is similar to. I know that it has many of the same features with the double T trussing and everything, but I'm not certain if that was one that was designed by Mr. Leedy or not. But we can
Maybe
affirm
look
that.
back maybe in the old.
Yes, sir.
That would be, I think, because I think if this is a Gene Leedy building, it's going to mean more to us with what we do on it than if it weren't. But that's all I'm saying.
Assistant City Manager Byrd, do you recall if this was a Gene Leedy building? We'll confirm that, sir.
If you don't mind, thank you.
All right. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor.
I'll make the motion.
I'll make the motion for
I'll stick
RFQ 24-38.
Thank you. Thank you. I will
Okay.
close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to RFQ 2438 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, RFQ 2438 is adopted. All right, 13B is the recommendation for grant and aid application review committee members. City manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor and Commissioners, so we have our Grant and Aid Application Review Committee that was established by Resolution 2219 on May 9th of 2022. City Commission appointed the initial 5 citizen members to serve 3-year terms. Alex Cam was one of those members who unfortunately had to resign his seat, and he was replaced by Miss Melinda Kalagridis, which was recommended by Commissioner Mercer. She was appointed to the commission, to the GAARC by the commission in early 2024. That group met this October, and the current members of the committee include Tina Summerlin, Abdul Al-Khatib, Alex Santiago, and Melinda Kalagridis, and they all indicated they wish to serve a second 3-year term. Dr. Steve Negley, who was one of the original members, noted that with regrets he would not be able to serve a second term. Dr. Negley had been nominated by former City Commissioner J.P. Powell, who was ultimately succeeded by Commissioner Clifton Dollison. Commissioner Dollison has nominated Dr. Barbara Jones to serve on the committee, thereby filling the seat that would be vacated by Dr. Negley. At this time, we are recommending that the City Commission reappoint the members Tina Summerlin, Abdul Al-Khatib, Alex Santiago, and Melinda Kalagridis for a new 3-year term, and also appoint Dr. Barbara Jones for an initial 3-year term. All of those 5 individuals will serve from January of 2025 over the next 3 years. And there is an application within your packet as submitted by Dr. Barbara Jones. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Motion to approve the recommendation for Grant and Aid Application Review Committee members as presented.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this item may do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting in a discussion.
Oh, just a question.
Yes.
Clarification. And first, I want to make it very clear that my question is in no way related to the applicant tonight. It was just more of I want to clarify what the process is for any and all of our committees like this. Do we do background checks and go through that process for
Yes, we
every
do.
single member, regardless of any committees, anything associated with committees with the city of Winter Haven? We run background checks and do all that stuff.
We do, sir. They fill out their application, they go through a background check, and some of our committees and boards are also required to comply with the Commission on Ethics through the completion of Form 1, depending upon what their roles and responsibilities are. So that will be the next step in the process with Dr. Jones, is to go through the background check on that.
Got it. Okay. And again, not related to Dr. Jones at all. I just was curious of confirming what that process was.
Excellent question, and thank you for asking that. I'll also say that we have the 3 meetings of for the applicants, the training sessions. That was something that we stole from Commissioner Dancer in his role with the TDC, requiring the applicants to go through that process. Those have been set for the month of February. We have more applications or more signups. I should say we haven't received any applications yet, but more people have expressed interest and signed up for those 3 training sessions than we've ever had before.
Great.
All right. That's it. All right. Well, we are now down to.
Was there a vote on that, Mr. Mayor?
Oh.
I know there was a motion by Commissioner Yates. I
Did I?
wasn't sure if there was a vote.
I didn't carry through.
I don't think we voted.
Oh, you made the motion?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. All right, it's adopted. City Attorney report.
Nothing this evening. Thank you.
Did I miss something, Pete?
I think you missed the liaison.
Liaisons.
reports.
You've been doing this for a
Commission
little
liaisons
while
on
now.
the bottom of the page.
Wait a minute.
It's at the very bottom. Yeah.
At the very last one.
Number 14.
The sheet that I have doesn't have that. It just liaison reports.
Commission liaison report.
Oh, I should do the commissioners before I do the city attorney. All right.
Up to you, Mayor.
My brain is still in Connecticut. I'm sorry.
Understood.
Commissioner Dancer.
Okay, I'll go quick. Started today with a goodbye celebration for Sonny. Didn't realize he'd worked here for almost 30 years, so wish him all the best in his retirement. Attended the Martin Luther King Parade. Good crowd this year. Very, very good crowd this year. Also the Unity Luncheon, the wreath laying ceremony, and the Polk State College Martin Luther King Luncheon. So we had a lot of Martin Luther King celebrations and a lot of commemorations, and it was a good week. And I was glad I was able to make several of those. I got my tree from Arbor Day. They were giving away free trees out there, and I got an email that they have another one for me. I guess they had a few extras. So if anybody wants one, they might have an extra tree for you, but I got to go pick my extra. They're going to give me a second one. So, and then last but not least, this weekend, I guys like to give you reports on what's going on at the field house. We had a volleyball tournament down there, and it was the most crowded I've ever seen that place. It was so packed. And it just so happens all the construction. So the parking was a little bit of a challenge. And I came back that night, Saturday night, to watch the play Anastasia. And I'm beginning to tell you, if you've not seen that play, you need to go. It's one of the best ones they've ever put on down there. I'm just telling you, it's just a really, really good play. The music is so good. But we have really hit a home run with that field house and conference center because it was hopping on all cylinders between the play and the volleyball tournaments and the people, and people were down there walking. It was just an absolute busy bee hub of activity. So I'm just thrilled every time I go down there and see how much that place is being used. So we absolutely did a good thing for our community with that building. So anyway, that's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Mercer.
I attended the Polk State MLK luncheon, and we did the MLK wreath laying. Also attended the MLK Unity luncheon, the MLK Park parade and did that from Reuben Williams Sports Center to MLK Park. And I did the MLK breakfast with concerned citizens. And I also did the chamber eggs and economics at Polk State. And we had one of our own, Eric, and of course we had Bruce there, and they did a good job. So I even had a lot of questions for them. So I also attended in Port Charlotte, the Charlotte Harbor National Estuary Program, I guess it is. I have, I can give you a report on it if you'd like. I'll just hit some of the topics that they discussed. We had one report. As you can see, it was a lot of pages. They also did talked a little bit about both of the hurricanes in that area because there was a lot of flooding and a lot of damages to from both. We had some presentations and publications and outreaches that they have done through their association. Let me see. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about, they had two rivers that they did have on, and one of them was the Myakka National Wild and Scenic Rivers designation. I never heard of that, but they also were looking at the Peace National Wild and Scenic River designation. And so part of that is you have to get, it's authorized by Congress, so it's a federal designation. And so what they try to do is have a lot of, to preserve those rivers. And of course, since the Peace River, there will be water supplies taken out of that. So that makes a big difference for the Peace River. It may not be declared. There was just a lot of discussion on that. So, so like I said, there's a lot of other things that they, the hurricane recovery needs, they talked about that. And some of the technical projects, they gave some updates on some of the projects that they're working on. So I have them more detailed and I brought back a whole package for you. So, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Dollison.
Good evening. I was privileged to attend the MLK activities, and they were done with excellence. And do want to commend the committee for doing an outstanding job, as they normally do. I think it's so important, and sadly, I'll say this, it's sad on a national level that diversity has been given a bad name, in the sense that many of those acknowledgments and awareness has been eradicated. Tonight was a great example of what we do locally. And I think it's important to stay focused locally, because sometimes when you look at the national scene, you can really become discouraged and disheartened by what you see. But tonight, we honored two people. Joel Atkins, I knew personally. I knew him up close. I worked along with him in our convention. I was under his leadership. I knew of his great work in civil rights. I knew the struggle that he endured here, right here in Winter Haven, that his house was scheduled to be bombed. He lived under a bomb threat. And just to know that we took time to honor such a man who would put his life on the line for doing what is right. And he served this community as a pastor, teacher, and also Carol, which I know very well over the years, 30 plus years I've been working in the community. And Carol has been, and was an integral part of many of the activities as it relates to law enforcement. I've been a chaplain for over 20 some years, and got a call today to respond, and I did respond to a call. It's just wonderful to be able to serve a community and have the opportunity to do so. But it is my hope that locally we maintain the idea that we are a nation of many different groups, and our cultural differences, and we share those. We saw those on display here tonight. I think it's what makes us strong, what makes us unique. And I hope and pray that we will always maintain that as a city. I think it's always in our best interest. And so I wanted to at least express that tonight because I think we're on the right path. I was able to be there with thinking about pastors, but Chief Emery today, and we thank him for his meritorious service and commitment to the city. And it looks like he could do another 30 years or 25 years. And so we appreciate him so very much. Also, Polk State was able to be at the ribbon cutting. The mayor spoke very eloquently about that facility, and it was just an honor to be there and to see what they have done with that. It is premier in terms of sound and just the quality of what they've done. And the art gallery is another added piece that I think is really exceptional as well. And so, those are just some of the highlights of the things that I was able to share with this last few weeks.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Yates.
Thank you. Just a few items this evening. One thing I wanted to point out was that I kind of discovered a need and an opportunity within Winter Haven. Obviously, everyone knows that we've got a great FSU residency program here in town. And attending some high school events, I noticed that, with football, you always had medical staff on call, ready to go. Any kind of time you have a football game, you have that. But you miss out on that a lot of times with soccer and basketball and some of the other high school athletics. So I reached out to Dr. Falk over there at the residency program and tied them in with Ashley Surgeon, our liaison with Polk Schools, and also with Dan Talbot. And we had a meeting of how potentially residents could attend these high school athletic games and earn the credits that they need to graduate residency. And that was very well received. So that's in motion and gives an opportunity for the residents there to attend games. If there's any medical need or any situation along those lines, that'll be there and available for the high school students. So happy and hopeful to see that come about sooner than later. Also attended several of the MLK events, the Friday luncheon, the MLK parade, and the MLK breakfast this past Saturday. I think sometimes I think maybe the speakers need to have a little bit more of a crash course on what's going on in Winter Haven, because I just think we are a very unified community. Everybody is respectful of one another and goes in the right direction. So I was hoping to hear a more unifying message at the lunch and the breakfast, but that's okay. I know the town that we live in and love our town and love Winter Haven, no place I'd rather be. And we are a unified community here in Winter Haven. Also wanted to mention, I'll be traveling next week to DC on behalf of the Florida League of Cities and the Fast Action Strike Team Committee. And one of the things that was brought up today that's going to be a priority up there is urging Congress to preserve the tax exempt status for municipal bonds. Obviously, we've done several bonds as of late, which achieved tax-free status. I think that helps the investors come in and acquire those bonds. It helps our rates. And so I think that's something that Congress needs to keep into place, certainly knowing that we're going to have some more bonding here before long for water plants and other things that come along. So that's something that I think is important to keep in place, and I'll be advocating for that in DC. With that, that's all I have. Oh, airport advisory meeting. Sorry, I wanted to touch on that. So they have been inviting private schools out there. I think just the communication wise, private elementary schools have been getting out there. They wanted to reach out to public elementary schools, which I think is a phenomenal idea. So I put them in touch again with our liaison, Ashley Surgeon, and to facilitate that. And hopefully we'll have local elementary school field trips coming out to the Winter Haven Airport and visiting out there. So I think that'd be an awesome thing. And hopefully maybe we'll strike a spark in some of the younger students to hopefully attend some of the classes out there one day and get their pilot's license and fly us up to Washington, D.C. and everywhere else around the world. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead and speak to it because you were there.
Yes. Okay. Well, I got to do something I had never done before. In fact, I'd never heard of it. The Peace Poll. Have y'all heard of the Peace Poll? Yeah. Yes? No? Maybe so? It was at the Montessori school. They have a peace poll where they unveiled it, and it's the whole purpose of it is to promote world peace. And so it was sort of really interesting. We had several speakers, of which I was one, even though it was my first go round. But the weather cooperated. It was a little chilly, but other than that, it was pretty good at the Montessori school. Attended the Polk State Fine Art ribbon cutting. The renovations are stunning out there. It's just really nice, and it took several years to get the money, to have the money come from the state to renovate that fine arts building. Also attended the Language and Literacy Academy. Westgate is donating a playground, is money for a playground at this Language and Arts Literacy Academy. And they are totally renovating their building, and it is so nice. And for those of you that may not know, the Language and Literacy is for the mentally challenged students. That's what it's for. And so it's just, they can have a building, and I think they told us that they have over 300 students. So it's a big deal, and it's just good to see. Attended all of the MLK activities that were put on by our committee and also Polk State. The one thing that really intrigued me, I had never done before, was to go and observe what they did at the library. And I mean, I was really taken back because I really wanted to do more. I wanted to play around with some of the things, the icebreakers that they did, and it was really good. It really challenged the students, and so I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I also attended Sonny Walker's retirement, and again, he doesn't look like he's ready to retire. I mean, he doesn't look old enough, but I guess he is. And saw some baby pictures of him. I mean, normally you go to a retirement, you don't see no little baby pictures of nobody. Nobody has the baby pictures. I don't think I've seen a baby picture of me in all my years. So, but there were some baby pictures there, but thoroughly enjoyed that. And attended the Winter Haven EDC meeting and also the PRWC meeting. And with that, that's it. So now, City Attorney, you already said you didn't have nothing.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing else this evening. Thank you.
All right. City Manager.
Thank you, sir. I have a couple items for you this evening. First of all, we discussed Wednesday evening the legislative agenda. You have an updated version of that document, I believe, at the dais. It's still in draft form. We're still plugging in some numbers to that will highlight not only what we're asking the state and federal partners to consider in terms of funding, but we'll also outline what our local contributions will be. With respect to Sage Road, Commissioner Dancer had brought that up. We're going to be engaging in further discussions with our county partners on that one. We think that leveraging both of those projects together may overextend our ask at the state level. I think on the Willowbrook Road alone, we may be about $5 million on the design aspects of that that we're going to be asking the state to do, but we are looking at Sage Road at the same time to see what's the best avenue to get that moving forward. So we heard you loud and clear on that. We will wrap this up pending any critiques or comments that we get from you all, and that will be the basis for us to carry forward to Tallahassee when we go in March for Polk County Day. We've also received the legislative platform from Polk County Public Schools, which has a lot of key points in that. Deputy City Manager will be engaged with the school board tomorrow in their Inside Polk County Public School program, and that will focus heavily on their legislative platform. So we'll know a little better what the issues are that they're dealing with. And we are still working with Polk State College to get their key legislative items that we can help advocate on their behalf. I wanted to share with you that I had an opportunity last week to meet with representatives from Central Florida Healthcare and their dental practices that they offer. This is following up on our discussions from November on fluoride and the idea that came forward of how do we utilize some of our local medical partners to maybe fill the gap or mitigate the elimination of the fluoridation. So I met with Ann Clausen and her chief officer for dental services, their mobile dental unit provider, the individual in charge of all of their hygienists, and they are working up a program that will focus on education and awareness, as well as extended services to areas within our community. And I expect to have that back, and I'll bring that back to the City Commission for consideration. I would not pursue that as a grant and aid. They will do a grant and aid request, but I felt this was more of a special initiative at the request of the City Commission. So I'll bring that back to see how we incorporate that either with funds that may be available in the current year's budget or to appropriate or make a recommendation for appropriation in the upcoming fiscal year as we develop that budget.
They have a mobile unit?
They do have a mobile unit, yes, sir.
That's our answer right there.
Yeah, and we discussed, the opportunities to work with churches to extend services out, and, to work with the Winter Haven Recreation and Cultural Center when that facility opens up. They've got a pretty amazing program that they're delivering within our community. It's a very impressive organization. So proud to have that based right here in Winter Haven. To answer your question, Commissioner Dancer, about the Gene Leedy influence on that building, Assistant City Manager Berg was able to forward me a document that says it suggests, according to Max Strang, who is probably the best expert on Leedy architecture, that building is a Leedy building. So that will come into consideration in the
I
design.
think so. This building is, so
Yeah.
seems like that one would be too.
You mentioned the retirement of Chief Sonny Emery. The swearing-in ceremony for Chief Drew Newbrand will be next Tuesday morning at 9:30 a.m. at Normail Hall. So that should be on your calendars. If you're able to attend, we would certainly love to have you there. Very significant event that we put on to swear in our law enforcement and our fire chief. So we're looking forward to that. And then This week, beginning Wednesday, Deputy City Manager Carnevale and I will be traveling to the Florida City County Management Association Winter Institute over on the West Coast. During that time, Assistant City Manager Berg will be the in control and be your point person for any issues that come up. So feel free to call upon him as frequently as you may desire. And MJ will be back into the area on Friday evening so they can double team that responsibility. And I think that is everything I have for this evening, sir. Thank you.
All right. MJ?
I do have something this evening I'd like to share. We had an incident on Sunday that we thought was worth sharing with you guys. So I think AJ has some slides. So we had a water line break near the entrance to College Grove, which is on the north side of Lake Elbert. As you can see that green pipe in the picture there, that's a 6-inch PVC pipe. That pipe exploded. Am I saying that right, Gary? Which is pretty uncommon the way that it broke. But that pipe broke, and it's part of a looped system. So you had the full pressure that feeds a fire hydrant. So you essentially had the full pressure of a fire hydrant feeding from two directions into this area that caused the washout. I think you can click to the next one, AJ.
Did you say green pipe is supposed to be blue for water?
It's an old pipe, yeah. So you can see it caused a bit of a washout here. A lot of utilities in the area, which made the repairs here much more complicated. This is just outside of the area where we're constructing, doing the construction on Lake Elbert Drive. So not really related to that project, just outside of the construction area.
MJ, what are those two rusty pipes in the background?
So there is I believe a 10-inch force main in there. So I don't remember.
Gosh, it's like they're ready to break.
Yeah, and then there's a water. Some of these are the lines that are being replaced
Okay.
as part of the Lake Elbert project, and they just weren't, new ones weren't in and operational yet. Would you hit the next one, AJ? So that's kind of the zoom out on the washout there. Pretty significant. Also worth noting, that's the only entrance in and out of College Grove. So there's a lot of coordination with public safety to make sure that they were able to continue to provide services. There was a medical event in there during this, and they were able to get people in and out effectively still. So staff was able to get the water shut off. There was a lot of coordination between our utilities teams, Public Works, Park Recreation and Culture, and then partnership with Carter K Engineering, who's been providing some support on the Lake Elbert project. And then the contractor for the Lake Elbert project came out to provide help. They weren't working that day, but they had materials and equipment on site right nearby. So they came out and helped us get that repair underway. Everybody collaborated. They repaired the stormwater pipes. You can see that blue line running across the middle there, that flexi one. As the 6-inch line washed out the roadway, there was a 2-inch line over it that then caved in on top of that. So then you had a 2-inch line leaking as well, kind of adding to that. So they bypassed it with that flexible line there. Got everything kind of patched back up and hit the next one, AJ. And by the end of the day, this is what that looked like. And you can kind of hit the next one too, AJ. So road was open and passable to traffic again, able to get in and out of College Grove. But it's just worth pointing out that that's a pretty significant issue. And the fact that the teams were able to collaborate together, have that repaired, back open to the public by the end of the day, that doesn't happen unless everybody's firing on all cylinders. That's just pretty cool stuff.
On a Sunday, no less.
On Sunday, yeah.
This we think that this pipe probably burst sometime around 3 a.m. and Winter Haven Police Department was notified, and our crews were rolling by no later than 7 a.m. I don't know what time our first notification came in, but by the end of the day, to have that completely restored it's an impressive feat on behalf of your staff in those departments.
So just kudos to everybody.
Is that a barge in the background? Do we have some sort of barge out there or something with that on the side of that crane? That big scoop truck?
On the left here?
It looks like
it's the other side, that blue.
That's silt fence, and that's a piece of pipe.
Yeah.
But look behind.
There is some sediment that was down in the lake, and so there's some follow-up work that's going to happen here. Some of the infrastructure there was already slated to be replaced. They'll go back and do that. They're doing some lake cleanup work, probably starting tomorrow, I think. So following up with that, working with the residents, just a pretty significant issue, but that was really, really well handled, I think, across the board. So just want to share that. That's all I have tonight, sir. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. City Clerk,
Nothing for me this evening.
Deputy City Clerk. All right, since I've already renamed Chief Emery Sonny Walker. If he's listening, I hope he doesn't come back to haunt me, but at any rate. And I had just one final thing. Tomorrow night at the Winter Haven High School men's boys basketball game, they're going to retire my brother's number.
Oh, cool.
And so he's in town to receive that honor. All right. Emergency matters not received for the agenda. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Stand